Hey, you human. Welcome to another edition of the Battle Plan Podcast, where the aim is to help you endure through challenges while inspiring you to live up to your fullest potential. My hope is that you're able to get a few nuggets from this podcast to help you live your best life. Now sit back, relax, focus, and enjoy the podcast. Hello, humans. This is Coach Nate here with today's Battle Plan Podcast. Thank you for joining us in this season 2. As you know, this podcast series is to deliver dynamic strategy, wisdom, and weapons to help you navigate through life's challenges and win. We want to do that in a powerful way, weaving inspirational insight with razor-sharp tools and tactics to help you towards your business success, with the mission being to help you endure through your challenges towards healing and wellness on your way to living up to your fullest potential. So thank you for joining us. I am elated today to have a very special guest with us, Miss Chandra Gore of Chandra Gore Consulting. And she is a dynamic, powerful, strong, brilliant, intelligent, capable, proven individual who I've had the honor of being on a couple of podcasts with and hosted her on one of mine. And I mean, this is going to be a great conversation. I have been looking forward to this for some time. So that was my intro, but her Chandra's bio I need to speak to. I'm just telling you, how it is according to the world, according to Nate. But she, integrity and hardworking have always been the hallmark of Chandra. And that's what she's used to build successful and profitable businesses through her consulting firm. She's worked with entrepreneurs to help them create foundations for success through her boutique consulting and public relations firm, Chandra Gore Consulting. She's quietly making strides with placements for small businesses, entertainment, authors, therapists, and motivational speaking clients on local and national news outlets. She has been leaving her mark as a publicist in the industry. She's also an author, speaker, podcast host, festival founder, and producer. She heads the production company SCM Productions, which produces live comedic events and upcoming comedy series, They Said What? That will be launched strictly on Amazon, hosting her successful inaugural comedy festival, Greater Northern Virginia Comedy and Film Festival in 2019. She has anchored herself as a woman to watch in comedy. With a strong feeling of pride in her community, she founded the Urban Flight Foundation to help spread pertinent information, host voter registration drives, and more within the Stafford County, Virginia area. She is an author of several books, moderator and speaker on topics such as business strategies, media relations, entrepreneurship, launching Conversations with Chan, her personal brand that includes a podcast, YouTube channel, and publication on medium.com. See, I told you she is magnificent. So welcome, Chandra.
Thank you for having me. This is I feel like, okay, I need to just play this as my introduction everywhere I go. Like, Nate said it. Let's just let him go ahead.
All I did was speak the truth.
Oh, thank you.
It is an absolute honor to have you. You are just a delight of an individual, making an impact. You exude that living up to your fullest potential, and someone that is definitely working on leaving more of a mark on this world than your tombstone, making it happen while you're here. So we'll start with what inspired you on your entrepreneurial journey.
My dad, my dad, God rest his soul. So I don't come from a traditional household. Like, my dad is my mother's father. So he raised me, and I watched him work, and he made he works and created companies so that he could have the time for me. Like,
Mm.
mind you, this is an older Black Southern man
Mm-hmm. Okay.
with a little girl. Like, it's like, I really, he gave me so many tools and spoke life into me, and, showed me that I didn't have to go the traditional way with just having a job, but he told me to go to school, make sure I make something of myself, but
Mm-hmm.
to do what would make me happy and do what would would not embarrass him. So
Okay.
those, and my great grandmother, like, both of them were very blunt. Like, there was no sugarcoating things with them. Like, they were very they just spoke their minds, and they told me what it was. So him making the time, like, we had breakfast every day,
Oh
we
wow.
had dinner every day, every Saturday we had pancakes together after we, like, I was I can't even imagine, I can't, think of a time where he wasn't there,
Mm.
so, and he did everything he could to show me that you can work for yourself and do the things that you love and have the life that you want for yourself. So that's you know, he's my best friend. Like,
Oh
I
my
can't
goodness.
even, yeah. he's That's
He
my
sounds
dad.
he sounds
Yeah.
like an incredible human being.
He
Kudos to both him and you for him providing the insight, input, investing in you, and you following it.
oh,
Knowing what you know, meeting
mhm.
other people and other individuals. What what do I'm certainly you've interacted with people who may not have been blessed as fortunate enough to have that type of upbringing. What impact do you believe that has had on your life versus those that may not have had benefit of that?
I know, I mean, I think because I was raised, because it was a lot of people they weren't raised by an older generation,
Hmm.
so their outlook on life was a little bit different than mine.
Hmm.
Because people that are my age, like, I'm 30, 30 something, and and a lot of people in my generation they don't understand, or it doesn't, a lot of our views don't jive.
Sure.
We don't
Okay.
have the same, like, when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save, if I make $1, I'm gonna save 75 cents, or
Hmm.
I don't care that they have the latest things. Like, I don't, some things that just they don't strike my fancy, like minding other people's business, the celebrities and stuff. Like, I don't care.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Hmm.
like, I was raised to focus on what affects me, and what and to not mind other people's business. Sweep around my own front door, like that kind of. So I was raised that way. So it's kind of a disconnect with my generation sometimes,
Right.
because the stuff that they're concerned about, I wasn't concerned about. Even in high school, it was like, I didn't care. Like, I'm here to get an education, and then I'm going about my business. Like, people were caught up in gossip and all that other stuff, and it's like, I, I don't care. Like, it wasn't my cup of tea. So a lot of times the disconnect was there, and that's why I feel like that made me stand out a little bit more, in a way.
So it sounds like you had more, I'll say, traditionalist values,
Yeah.
even though you might be in the Gen X, Y, millennial category. Now, some people take offense to those labels, but
Yeah.
in terms of temperaments and mentalities and that sort of thing, it differs from your generation. So, are you then advocating that having traditionalist values are not a bad thing or a good thing, or
I don't think, like,
what do you
I
think?
think I don't, it works for me. I can't say for everybody else that's what they should have,
Hmm.
because, I can only speak for what works for me and my family and my kids and stuff, because it's helped me to be successful. It's helped me
Right.
to understand and to grow. And I can't say for that might not be something that they want to ascribe to. I can't, it just, if it works for you, it works for you. Because
Sure.
sometimes if you feel like you're doing something, if something that you were raised doing is not giving you the outcome of success, then
Hmm.
maybe that's time for you to rechange redo your views and change what you're doing, because you're not succeeding in life.
Right.
So if traditional values will help you to succeed, then I guess that would be a great way, because not everything is not for everybody. And I say that because I I
So
can't.
if the path you're on isn't
Hmm.
taking you to where you want to go, change paths.
Right. Like,
Try
just
something different.
try something different, because a lot of people, I get a lot of backlash. Like, my children say yes ma'am and no ma'am to me, and I
Wow.
tell them all the time, if we're in public and it's like, you say yes ma'am and no ma'am, it's yes sir or no sir,
Hmm.
and you always put a handle on an adult's name, Mr. What's Mrs. Such and such, whatever. And somebody was like, oh, what you? I was like, first of all, mind your business. How I raise my kids is how I'm
Yes.
raising my kids.
Right.
What you do with yours, and you do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't have um that friendship. Like, I love my children, but
Yes.
I'm not on that friend level like some of my peers are. Like, oh, me and my kid. No, not doing it. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be your parent. But I'm not gonna ever put myself on your same level to be your contemporary when I'm your parent. And that's
Absolutely.
because that's we have a generation of children who think they can talk to adults any kind of way, and the
Hmm.
lack of respect is not there anymore. And I'm not raising no hoodlums or no hood rats. So,
No, you struck a nerve. You just jumped right in there. In terms of raising kids, and especially the father daughter relationship is
hmm
so important, and similar to the mother son relationship. My mom was my first best friend. She
hmm
is the strongest, most intelligent, class finesse, brilliant individual I know on the face of this planet. However, she maintained that parental boundary. She may have been
yep,
my first best friend, and that is somebody I could trust, not Facebook friends, okay, but the real true meaning of somebody that has your best interest in mind and nothing to gain from
right,
it, and taught me so much in that regard by example, right? Not from telling, talking to. So when you talked about your father and how he treated you, it reminded me of, the kids in raising mine. They're little adults.
yes, they are.
Yeah, I would do when before they could form words, I would do the gibberish. But yeah, when you have those conversations for fun. But when they began to comprehend yes and no, I would speak to them like they're little adults, like little humans. And some people didn't understand that. Well, they're just a child. Yes, I'm not saying I'm going to whip out a dictionary or board meeting or something along that line, but communicate and convey to them with the intent, with the expectation that they're probably going to comprehend, and that's how they learn
Yep,
and how they become responsible. And to your point, if you're a peer, eh, kids need training.
yep.
Kids, they automatically know. You just got me going off on a tangent here, but this came up recently. Actually, I've seen some Facebook posts, and one of them, and I don't want to go completely sideways on this, but a Facebook post that said, we have to teach our children to love, and that's going to erase racism. Wrong answer. They automatically know how to love. They are taught
Racism.
racism.
Like, who? Like,
And I
who?
just somebody in your generation, and
Listen, I'm gonna say
somebody,
this about Facebook and social media. Look, you can quote me. You can use this. Social media has given a voice to people who should not have one. Like,
absolutely.
I'm just saying, some stuff, you know, it, listen, just because it allows you to post it, it does not mean you need to post it, because people take a lie and run with it faster than the truth. You know what I'm saying? That, and
Yes,
it makes no sense to me, because it, I just I'm tired.
social media gives people a license to speak without thinking, and it gives people a right to hear without thinking. And that
Right.
is in and of itself a massive problem. People put on facades,
Hmm.
masks, personifications of themselves. And there's so much of that you can do face to face, but and without being caught for being a fake. But on social media, you don't have the benefit of, the other senses and people looking at you. And so then people will be in character, put something out there, and then somebody's going to read it and believe it and take it as the gospel truth. And if you don't vet the information, what's the source? Who did it come from? Dive into it and say, and that's all ties back to you learned how to do that because the man your father in your life took the time to invest in you to train up a child in the way they should go. So
Yep.
when you get off the path, they'll come back. But to teach you critical thinking,
Yep.
that is where common sense went sideways.
And that's where a lot of people like, because it was like, why do you always question? Like, I don't get me wrong, I did not question my dad. I listened to what he said. He goes, you make your own determination.
Mm-hmm.
He says, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's something what he said goes, I'm not gonna question it,
Right.
because it is, that's what he said to do. I'm gonna go over here and jump 13 times because he told me to. I may not know why I'm jumping 13 times, but I'm gonna go over and jump, like,
Right.
because
Right.
I'm not gonna push that boundary because I respect him and I know that he wouldn't guide me to jump off a bridge and kill
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like, he would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times he says, always, you know, if you feel something in the back of your mind is going to tell you what you're hearing is not right.
Right.
And it's okay to ask questions. If he says, if someone reacts with an attitude because you asked a question, then that's where you have to, he goes, you got to pick up on that and understand, like, there's something that they don't want you to know.
Right.
So they only want to tell you this one. He goes, take the blinders off and look at it as a whole, because 9 times out of 10, they're only telling you a portion so that you'll buy into it,
Mm-hmm.
and then be led off and led off
Led
astray. And I'm like, I'm a firm believer on, give me the whole story. Like, don't tell me somebody did something to you and you didn't say your part. Like, don't,
Mm-hmm.
I need all of it.
The whole
I
picture.
need everything.
And because you were given the tools, equipped at an early age on
Mm-hmm.
how to think critically. It's not questioning in terms of authority, and I understand that's also a generational thing, because so many authority figures have failed and fallen and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
just because you have a title doesn't mean I'm not going to question. It's not a question of in a negative connotation. It is, let me get a clear understanding. I'm questioning to learn, to evaluate, to assess, to determine the value of this information or this approach or what I'm about to do. Is it going to help or harm? You run it through a character filter. You run it through so many different. If you are taught that, but if you're best friends and any behavior is allowable, and you don't take the time to teach that, then you get, I guess, what we have today.
A generation of knuckleheads. And
It is it.
I mean, it's like, I look at my son he'll be 18 next month.
Okay.
And I'm so thankful that my dad was in his life, for the time period that he was in his life,
Mm-hmm.
and all of my children's life, because he actually got to see that side of my dad,
Mm-hmm.
that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was no playing no games. Like, they were young. My kids were babies, and my dad was, guiding them and telling them, now, if you go over here, he'll give, he used to tell you, if you do this, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do this, you're going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you choose to go there, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to catch you,
Yeah.
but I'm going to let you fall, though. Like, that's, but it was that exposure that they got that I'm so grateful for, because it instilled in them, the same foundation that I got, because I didn't know nothing about birthing no babies. So
we don't get a manual on that. We learn from trial and error. It's the when we're younger, life. The video, the cameras and record, and then when we grow up, we press play. But our responsibility is to know when to press stop and re-record.
Yep.
Hopefully, we've got a lot of good footage. But you brought up a point there in terms of, and I had to learn that the hard way, is we as parents want to try to prevent our kids from failing.
Yep.
And if we do that, they'll never learn how to recover from failure. And failure is character building. So yes, you're not going to let them play in the middle of the highway. Things that would cause imminent self-harm. But you have to let them learn. And those are sometimes the best teachers, a scraped knee or a bruised ego.
Man, my ex-husband used to say all the time, like, why do you feel like that? It's because I don't want them. I know he has a skin in his knee. I know my children have, all of them have to go through that.
Yes.
But I don't want to see it. Like, I'm like this. I don't want to see it. I know it's going to happen, but I don't want to see it, because my first reaction is to protect them. But I know they got a skin they need or burn their hand for them to understand. So it's like,
That's in life. There was the apprentice of the CEO, and he watched him, and he idolized him. And he said, I want to be like you when I grow up. What do I need to do? And the CEO said, increase your rate of failure.
Yep.
It's life lessons. Life lessons is what we do, and how we move forward. What inspires your drive to keep going?
Though my children,
Nice.
my children have been the reasons why I chose to live. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
They have been the reasons why I never quit. The reason why I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive 2 hours to go to work.
Mm.
Like that's my children. Like I looked at it. There was a time when I was at the beginning, well, when I turned 18 before I got married, I never wanted children.
Mm.
And I was gonna get some dogs. I was gonna, go to school, have some dogs, be all right. That was it.
The four-legged
But
kind.
yeah, just the four-legged children. Those I could drop off at a kennel and go on about my life. Okay, like there wasn't no, oh, I gotta find a babysitter. No, there's a kennel. Drop them off, couple bags of dog food. I'm fine. Never held a baby. All of that. Like I didn't have a. Then
Oh.
I got married, and children come with the pack. Children seem to be a product of being married sometimes.
Happens. Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
So I had my son, and it was the first baby I held. Like the first,
Mm.
I never held. Like I was, that wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But he was my first baby that I held, and it was like, I get it now. Like
Okay.
at that point, and it was just like. Then after the other children came along, it was like each one of them gave me something more, and I wouldn't be this far had I not had my children.
Mm.
I know I wouldn't have. Dang, they just give me, even though sometimes they don't like me right now,
Sure.
they give me the motivation. I don't know. I tell them all the time, like, y'all don't understand how much y'all do mean to me, because on those darkest hours where I wanted to just, sleep away and, go to the upper room,
Mm-hmm.
it was their voices that I heard,
Mm-hmm.
when they were babies. My youngest son, he'll be 14 this year. He was a year and a half. And he used to always, anytime I would be sad, he'll come and rub my face and say, Mommy, you okay? Mommy, smile. Like that kind of stuff. It just made me reevaluate why I was, like where I was going. And that's the kind of stuff that just makes me it drives me even harder. So my kids are my motivation. Like they are, I would never want to leave them in a world without me, because ain't nobody gonna protect them the way I'm gonna protect them, or take care of them the way I'm gonna take care of them. So yeah, man.
That is an absolute reason to continue. And when you have that
Mm.
mindset that you're not here just for yourself.
This ain't even about me no more. Like I believe that. Like to this day, it's like autopilot. Like what life can I give them? They've never had to struggle. They've never seen the side of struggle. And my world could be crumbling around me, but for them, everything is beautiful, everything is fine, everything is where it's supposed to be, and that's the way, you know. It just keeps me going. And my babies, even though they old and ornery now, but they my babies.
That's that's the legacy you're looking
Mm-hmm.
to live, to leave for having been here. Your children and your children's children.
Yep.
It
I
would.
hope.
I think it would serve us all if that became our focal point. That we're not
Mm-hmm.
living for ourselves.
No, and I see people all the time. They're like, "Well, I'm doing this because I ain't never had nothing." But you got 6 kids. Hello, what are they here for?
Mm.
Like, it ain't about you no more. Like, I think as soon as you become a parent, it's no longer about you in life. You know.
I've seen that. I've recognized that as when you go to the hospital and you hand the doctor your life as you knew it, and he or she hands you your new child.
It's over.
It's a complete change. One of the best things in the world, or for some of us, the best thing in the, not thing, but event a reason to go on, to live, to strive, to be a better human.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I love that. I love that view. Clearly, your children are near and dear to your
Yeah,
heart.
they are. I don't like them today, but I'll love them.
Uh, See, that's the unconditional love. That's I have that with my. I haven't figured it out, the saying for children, but like my wife is three things to me. First and foremost, my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Second, wife, mother of my children, and third, my lover. Now, sometimes I have to go to my best friend to tell her that my wife is getting on my nerves.
See that
So,
right there.
so,
You got listen. I deal with that in here all the time
so-
because I tell him all the time I don't like you,
right.
but I love you.
Absolutely. Unconditional
But
love.
listen, he's like, well, you get on my nerves. Which nerves? So I'll know, so that I can still get on the nerves. People don't understand relationship. That is a whole different.
It really is. And
Yeah,
as long as you're
sometimes.
honest.
Yeah, listen. That right there is the key to a successful relationship: is being honest.
Mm-hmm,
If you sad, say you sad. If you upset, say you're upset. If
mm-hmm,
you don't like something, say that. Because I, in this relationship, I have been the most honest about myself as I've ever been.
mm-hmm.
You know, like he closed the bathroom door too hard. See, I don't like that. And I will say that I don't like
Absolutely.
the way you chewing your food. Like I have no problem saying that. Anybody like in my last relationship, I never said anything that I just grinned and bear it
Hmm.
and was over there seething, like hoping they'd go to sleep and just wake up dead. That's wrong.
How'd that
But
work for you?
listen, no longer with them because like I haven't had that many relationships and I realized like this is it. And it's either going to be my first murder charge or it's my last relationship and I don't plan on doing this no more because it's a lot of work. I
It
thought
is.
being married, like when I was married, I didn't speak up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We had our issues. He liked to put his hands on people.
Mm.
Therefore, I think we need to go ahead. You know, it's not we before I end up in the courthouse. We need to go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and go to the courthouse for another reason.
Absolutely.
You know, and then my subsequent relationship, it was like this ain't gonna work neither. So sometimes you gotta be single and get on your own nerves
Sure.
before you go and get out there and get on somebody else's nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, take the time. People forget. Take the time. Be single.
Mm-hmm.
Work your last nerve. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, that's when you felt like you worked your last nerve and you're not mad at yourself no more. That's when you can get in a relationship. I'm not a relationship guru or nothing, but
Sure.
that worked for me. Just
That's a great point. I usually, when talking with individuals on relationships, which is one of the books I'm writing, it's you have to learn to love yourself
mm-hmm.
first to learn what love is before you even can begin to love somebody else. But you have now brought that to another level. You also have to know what it is to dislike the parts of yourself, not get on your case, but those things that could wear on your own nerves, as you stated, and that could wear on other people's tolerance factors. Very interesting.
Man, I used to get listen. I made myself mad one day. I had to laugh because I was like, "Am I this aggravating?" Because I just aggravated myself. Like, am I this worse? So like, I really had to check myself. Like, girl, bring that in. Like, you doing too much. And I was mad at myself. And I was like, oh, yeah, because I was in here by myself, and I wasn't. I had a pile of clothes to fold up, and I kept walking past it. And
Hmm.
I got upset at me, like, why is this still here? Like, wait got on my own. Like, you have to understand. Like, I tell somebody, like, oh, you're gonna be single with a whole bunch of cats. Okay, but I'll be happy, and I'll know what like, no one takes the time to know themselves and understand how to love themselves anymore. Everybody feels like, well, all my friends say I need to have somebody. Well, do your friends have anybody? No. Oh, okay then. So why are you listening to them? They
Hmm.
haven't had a successful relationship since they left their parents' house. So I
Nice.
see. I will go off on a tangent, but I just because certain things need to be said sometimes.
So not only are you not afraid to be your authentic self, you have learned the benefits of being your authentic self.
Yes, what's really been the key, my relationship has been so successful, is because I myself, you never get a different person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't argue with people that I don't wake up to, and I will never do that. And I'm able to say, listen, like, this is what I'm going through right now, and it's okay. Because a lot of times we hide, oh, I'm not feeling like myself today, or all that kind of stuff. It makes no sense. I'm like this with anybody that meets me. I'm gonna be the same person you met the first time, because you know how tiring it is to put on a mask and remember your personality you gave them the last time you met somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't be forgetful, because then you don't even know who that person is going to be confused. Like, you weren't like this the last time, because I say it. Like, you weren't acting like this the last time. Do you remember who you were when you met me the first time? I will say that, because that's me.
Nice.
Look, I'm see.
It's almost like they say, when it's better to tell the truth,
Yep.
because when you tell one lie, you have to tell another one to cover up that one. You have to remember all the lies you told.
Listen.
But if you tell the truth, that's the only one thing you have to remember. So you've just put that in the context of be your authentic self, because you never have to remember who you were when you were somebody else.
Right. Like, and for me, and I'm not like, I think when my dad, he was like, if you tell one lie, you only dig, that's a little hole.
Mm-hmm.
Got to tell another lie, you dig a little hole. Look, you keep digging deeper, you're gonna be. He said, be over there in China. Like, and I'm like, Daddy, that don't make sense. But then I thought about it. It's true, because the more you dig, the deeper the hole gets, and you can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And people have like, well, the police call, tell them I was nope, because I ain't gonna remember what we talked about. So therefore, ask me to lie for you, because I'm not a good liar. That is not my ministry. Because then I got to write down a whole dissertation and take notes and all that. Too much.
Speaking of lies, which are synonymous with obstacles, what have been some of your greatest obstacles in business?
Oh, man. I used to take things very personal, like emotionally personal. When I received a rejection or a no, or someone pushed back on my rates or something like that, I would take it very personal. And that was something I had to overcome, because it wasn't a personal attack. It was just, it wasn't the time yet. So that's one of my biggest obstacles of that I dealt with and I overcame. And then fear was another one. Because it wasn't fear of failure, it was fear of success. Because once you reach that pinnacle, that success, maintaining it is the hardest thing ever, because you get there, you could fight so hard to get there, but you're forgetting that once you get there, how do you maintain that? So that was my fear for the longest time, of being successful and then failing horribly afterwards. And it wasn't until I got to that point and I became successful, and to me it was a failure, but to everybody else it wasn't. I walked away from certain things. I wasn't, ready for. Well, I was ready for it. I just wasn't prepared for it. Okay. So fear did that. Fear made me feel like I wasn't prepared when I was. So overcoming those things, helped me to understand, like, within that fear, use that fear to drive me, to keep me going, to make me remember why I started. So
is that how you overcame fear?
Mm-hmm.
Leveraging it as a
motivation.
Okay.
Because if you're not afraid, then it's not big enough. You know what I'm saying? Then it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're fearless and you do things a little bit differently, when that fear is there, but you go a little bit harder, and the success was always sweeter when you achieve that with that fear in the back of your mind.
Nice. So, a victory. I overcame this. I won this battle.
Yeah, it's
very
like,
nice.
You laugh in fear's face and like, whatever. I did it though.
I win.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you could give words of advice to somebody wanting to start a business, what would you tell them?
Do it. Like, seriously, don't look at everybody else and what everybody else is doing. Do what makes you happy. Use that passion. Don't look at it as, oh, I can make this amount of money. Don't let the money be your motivation. Let the passion be your motivation. Because within that passion turns into the money. The
Mm-hmm.
money will come so easy, you won't even think you're working. So that's my biggest word of advice. Don't hesitate to start, just start. That's like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So focus on the outcome, not the income.
Yep,
Nice.
exactly.
Nice. I know we touched on this. What do you want your legacy to be?
I was authentic. There was, I wanted to be said that, she may not be everybody's cup of tea, but, I still left a taste in your mouth. So that's really what I'm like. I'm so serious. Like, I don't feel that. I just want my legacy to be she was the realest person ever. I mean, she laughed even when she was about to cut somebody's throat, but she was true. And, for my kids, I want them to make sure that they can say, that was my mom. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to say, well, disregards to what she did back in 93 now. But, I want them to be happy about every aspect of my life. That I think is, yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. As you were taught, don't embarrass me or, make me proud
Mm-hmm.
from your dad. At the same time, you also want your kids to be proud of you. In other words, it works both ways.
It does.
As a parent, we are teaching by example through our actions, not expecting them to do things that we won't do or are not willing to do ourselves.
Right.
So how do you balance family and business?
Well, I block off time. Like, I will do a hard stop on certain days. I'll stop working and focus on my family.
Okay.
I do feel like a lot of times, since I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always here, that I'll forget that there's a time where I have to be family and a time where I have to work. So I have to do a hard stop. I just cut everything off and just walk away, because you have to. You just have to refresh your mind, recharge, and do what's necessary. And that's how I balance it. Even though sometimes the scale is sometimes tipped, I still make the time, and I don't beat myself up anymore about that.
I've been challenged with the word balance because it is difficult to do that. So I strive for harmony. And that is sometimes your primary focus is work, but you set the expectation with family and others that for this period of time, this is going to be the focus. And everybody's okay with that. And then you commit, and this is going to be the time for that. And that's
They're
how you
not
can.
okay with it. I will say this.
They love some mom.
Yeah, because sometimes, like with my fiance, he forgets that I work from home. Like, he goes outside to work.
Okay.
But he forgets, because when he's here, I'm here, and it's like, okay, yay. Like, no, I'm working. These are working hours, but you're right here. I know that. Like, I want to put up a partition, like the office is now closed. Like, it's a comfortability, I think, that working from home kind of gives the illusion that I'm always available.
Sure.
Because the kids will walk in, mommy, can I, like, what? I'm on the phone. I'm doing that.
So it sounds like you need to do what the folks who used to work in cubicles used to do, and that was put up a piece of tape that said, if this was a door, it would be closed.
My kids don't care.
It's an obstacle course.
They're like, whatever. You may be working with that person, but I'm still your child, and what you want me to do? They don't care. They really don't, like, because they know I must pause and be like, hold on, give me a second. What do they do? Because I'm a mom first. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but then after I do that loving mom situation, when I get off that call,
yeah,
then I gotta check you. Like, come on now, really?
Let's have a board meeting,
yes.
a family meeting.
We gonna have a meeting real quick, an office meeting, and you fired. That's what it's gonna be.
Speaking of you're fired, I understand that you're very active in the voter registration voting process.
Yes, I am.
I've heard little snippets on other shows about it, but I love your mindset, your thought process. So I do want to have you speak a little bit about what the things that you're doing there and the
Listen,
importance and that sort of thing.
I'm actually recording a video to show how people can fill out. I'm sorry, right here on my bookshelf, right here. Hold on.
Nice.
Like,
She's ready. She's
yeah, because I'm gonna have people, if they can't get it, I have voter registration forms, right,
hmm
for Virginia. So I'm
Nice.
actually
Look at
doing
that.
a video where I'm actually taking the form and I'm doing a step-by-step guide on how to fill out the voter registration form. And if they have any questions, I have my own little personal hotline I've created by Google Voice that I'll walk them through it, or they can watch the video. Like, because I don't think um, sometimes if you speak in people's terms and their language,
hmm
they will understand a little bit better, So I break it down and I want them to understand how important any election is, not just this election, because everybody's making it because they want Tank 45 out. I get it.
Sure.
But y'all got to understand there's mayors, there are district attorneys, there are judges, there are sheriffs. All these other offices are being vacated or being contested, and these are more important because there's people that actually are shooting these officers who are being led by a sheriff who may not have the same views as you, won't have the same reaction as you. The district attorney or the state's attorney may not have the same views. Like, so know that these elections, those types of elections make the difference. Like, don't think federal is all that matters. Your state and local have a direct impact on your life. Now, like, and this is what I tell people, think about this. If you elect a sheriff who doesn't care about your demographic and your views and your point of view, then you're going to get the results that we've been getting all these years. If you have a sheriff or a police chief that you elect that has your best interests in mind, they're going to clean house. They're going to want to make the change and make sure these officers are doing what they're supposed to do. So there's a different, like, in understanding how the process works. You can't go to your great great grandmother because your mother did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So you got to start at the right level to make the change that you want to make. So that's what I'm saying. Voting is very important, and not voting is an expensive price to pay, for your livelihood to be peaceful.
So you may have touched on it, but there are people that don't believe their vote matters. The whole electoral college issue.
They've Lord, listen. That's on a federal level. The electoral college ain't got nothing to do with that judge that's gonna sentence you the 392 years for shoplifting that one thing out of Dollar Tree.
Hmm,
So make
absolutely.
sure like there's so many different factors and everyone's focused on this global one. And I'm like, please, with the mess. Like, don't do that.
Yes. I
Just
mean,
understand.
understanding the electoral college at the federal level, but I think people have seen that if the House is of the opposite party or the Senate, those are very important, and the other state and local are not electoral college.
Right.
They are popular votes. Numbers count, and that's sort of a misnomer that unfortunately is being put out there that it doesn't matter, and I think unfortunately that's what people want people to believe. Don't bother because it doesn't matter, and like I would go so far as to say nothing could be further from the truth.
It's that myth. Like, I had to help a woman understand, like, voting is not going to take away your benefits. Like,
hmm
she had this belief that it was going to, like, and I thought about it, like, wait a minute, if you believe that, then you told other people that, and
Yes,
you told them, so you basically just took the voice away from a whole group of people.
therein lies the problem.
Yeah, and it's like, and that will travel faster than get
Yes.
out and vote. Like, really, like, it is.
Conspiracy theories, and I would just vet the information.
I'm just
Look
want to give
into
everybody a roll of aluminum foil. Go ahead and put your hat on and just
it.
Do what's necessary. You want a pot and a spoon too? I got you. Like,
Oh man. Um, I know that we've had a good time here chatting, and we're coming to the bottom of the hour, and you've got another engagement coming in. But there's a couple questions that I gotta ask, and I like
hmm,
to ask all of my guests. And yeah, I think you've already answered one. I might know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. And that is, who is your hero and why?
my dad. My dad is my hero. Like, that's my dad, dude. I don't like it was like he's not here. Okay, and he's always with me. His blood goes through is running through my veins, so he's always with me. So don't ever forget. Like that's my hero and my great grandmother.
Mhm.
If y'all think my mouth is reckless, she would have got you together. And I love her. Like they are my heroes.
Mm.
And I know they're watching out for me because
You light up with $1 million smile every time you talk about that.
man, that's my best friend. Like man, yo,
Very
yeah.
fortunate to have had that. Very fortunate. What would you tell your younger self if you could?
I think about me and my kids were talking about this last night. I would tell my younger self like stop overthinking what people think about you and what they say about you. Um, that was, it is okay. You don't have to save everybody. Save yourself first. When you go in there, like put your mask on first so you can live and help everybody else live. So that's one of the things I'll say. Like my young years, I want to save everybody.
Mm. Mm.
Save myself.
Nice. Self first,
Hmm.
and then those that you were called to, and which isn't everybody.
Yep.
Very well put. Very well put. I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. I wish I could go on, but I'm going to have you back as we can talk about so many things
Of
for a
course.
long, long time. Before we wrap up, I want you to share with my audience, our listeners, more information about you, where they can find you, where they can reach out to you, contact you. I'm sure that there are people who would be delighted to have you assist them in their entrepreneurial efforts. So please do share with them how they can get in touch with you.
I can be found via my website, chandragoreconsulting.com, Instagram, C Gore Consults, Facebook, Chandra Gore Consulting, on where you listen to your podcasts and conversations with Chan, and that's about it.
Very nice. Very nice. I strongly encourage you guys to go check her out. She is just a delightful human being, and one that I'm honored to have had as a guest on this show. And any time that we're on a show together, it is just a phenomenal event. I cannot say enough good things about you, but that won't stop me from trying. So thank you so much for honoring us with your presence on this show. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavors, and it's been a delight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very this was an honor. Like this was a great conversation. I'm looking forward to the next one, but that I have after this one because I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're there with your mind, it'll go well.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, listeners, for tuning in. We certainly appreciate your listening. I won't belabor it, but please do continue to listen to our podcast, where you'll find information to help you endure through your challenges on your way to health, healing, and wellness as you work towards living up to your fullest potential. You can always find me at natebattle.com for more information on anything about me, my books, my different podcasts, webcasts, Patreon page. Thank you for listening, and you all have a great day. And as you hear me say, live your best life on purpose now. Hey, you human. Coach Nate here with today's Battle Plan podcast. I want to talk about possibilities or possibility today. It was Nelson Mandela who said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Now, this is from an individual who spent many years in prison, whose valiant efforts overcame a plague of oppression in his country. I can only imagine how he looked at what he was facing and how insurmountable it appeared to be to him, but he kept at it. How we look to apply this to our lives is I'm pretty sure you can think of a time that you were facing something that just didn't seem like it was going to work out. You didn't see a way. And think of that time and how somehow it worked out. Somehow you got through it. Somehow it happened. Didn't appear to be that way on the onset. But on the other side of it, we can look back at experiences and go, oh, yeah, easy peasy in some cases. I want to encourage you today that if you are facing something that it seems impossible, whether it be a relationship, whether it be financial hardship, challenges that are before you, real challenges, foreclosure, eviction, bills that are past due, maybe it's going to kill your credit score. It could be a health issue. It could be a family member issue, a relationship challenge. I could go on, a fear, a phobia, something that in your heart of hearts, as you sit here and face it, you just don't see how. It appears impossible. I've been there. I felt like I've lived there, and it sucks. I will not sugarcoat that experience of being there. In that process, I found myself often dwelling on the negatives of the what ifs, playing the scenario out in its worst case outcome, haunted by fear and anxiety. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat or ate too much, mood swings, depression, even losing the will to live, because it appeared in my mind impossible. The key word there, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is that it appeared impossible in my mind. That is not to say that it was impossible. And I know from experience, through experience, that situations that I thought that appeared in my mind as impossible turned out that I got through them, that it was in fact possible. So I'll challenge you, and not too tough, because you're already dealing with something that is a challenge, right? So maybe the word is encourage you to, instead of viewing whatever is in front of you, whatever you're facing, whatever it is that seems like a chasm that cannot be crossed, a chasm that can't be crossed, to look at it as possible. As Les Brown said in one of his most famous talks, it's possible. To look at it in a way that it can be. You may not know how. You may not know where. You may not know when. But to say to yourself, to present in your mind that it is possible, to see that that thing is done. In other words, you're not projecting in your mind being in the midst of it. You are projecting in your mind being on the other side of it, being through it, that it worked out, that it resolved, that it worked in your favor. It may be the end of a relationship and you don't see how it's possible to go on. It may be that you've lost something or someone and you don't see how it's possible to continue living. It may be that it's a permanent event and you don't see how it's possible to recover. But I'm telling you that it's possible. That whatever you're facing, that whatever you're dealing with, that whatever is before you, that whatever is holding you down, plaguing you, disrupting your peace, infiltrating every fiber of your being, making you upset, sick, obsessed, toxic, that it is possible to be on the other side of that. And the more that you focus your mind on that, the less power it has over you, the less of a grip it has on you, the less solution stifling, repelling energy that it's emitting. We could be driving our solutions away from us by focusing on what we don't want. It's more than just an exercise. It's more than just positive thinking. I'm not even beginning to imply that, just think positive. What I'm saying is, as you play the images in your mind, choose to change the channel. Choose to play what it is that you want, how you see possibilities, reimagine, re-engineer your mind and thinking on what could be, on what can be. And you may very well find that it will be. I've used that approach to find peace in the midst of the storm. I've used that approach to calm myself when upset. I've used that approach to give me courage and strength. It's more than just thinking good things. It's turning the impossible into the possible. Miraculously, things have a way of working themselves out in your favor in ways that you may not have even imagined. When you set the stage, when you set the mood in the room to receive the solution, the possibility, with the power of your mind. Our minds can work against us, or they can work for us. And that's something that you control. You and you alone. Others will come along and try to dissuade us, try to push us in one direction or the other. Sometimes people are miserable, and they want other people to be miserable with them. No, not today. Not here. Not at this juncture, not at this point. Not when I'm nearing the ledge. I'm coming off this ledge because it's possible. I can go on. I can continue to live. I can get through this. I may not control how, what, or when, but I do control my mind and my thinking. And I will live and live again. I've gotten through it before. I've been through it before. There have been other situations that appeared impossible based on the movie I was playing in my mind. And so I know it's possible. I know it's possible to live my best life on purpose now. Well, that's it for today's podcast. I hope that you were able to find some nuggets of wisdom, some inspiration, and something to help you in your life's journey as you progress towards living your best life. Know that I'm just an ordinary human trying to use my remarkable life to make an extraordinary impact on the lives of others. If you enjoyed what you heard today or were helped in some way, please send me a message. Send me an email, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. I love hearing how this content is helping individuals in their daily lives. If you have a specific topic you want me to address, include that too. You never know, you may find it in an upcoming podcast. For more information, content, videos, and information on my book, and links to all my social media, please visit natebattle.com. Remember, today is the youngest you'll ever be, so go out and make the most of it. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Live your best life on purpose now.